Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the DVC Clubhouse show. I'm Amy, and I'm here with Jeff.
Hey everybody.
Say hi, Jeff. And with our guest this week, Sarah. So Sarah, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So before we get into your DVC story, can you just give us a little bit of history about your Disney story, your Disney World story, and how you started going?
Sure. So my first time going was in 1984. I was 3 years old. My aunt and uncle lived in Orlando. So, it was part of the trip of going down to visit them. Obviously, I was 3. I don't remember much of that trip, but, we have pictures. Next trip was when I was 6. Same thing. We went to go visit my aunt. So we stayed off property. We weren't on property. We would do, partial days there. I do remember the Main Street Electrical Parade and absolutely loving it. I remember the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I remember Universe of Energy, but other than that, I don't have a ton of memories of that either. It was when I was in high school. So my senior year of high school, my mom took me to Disney for my graduation gift. So we stayed at the Polynesian. It was my first time staying on property, and it was so amazing. Just absolutely fell in love with it. That was my first time seeing fireworks at Magic Kingdom. The first illuminations was fairly new at that point in time, and the technology just blew us away. Lasers with fireworks, it was so cool. And yeah, just fell in love with it. My brother was a big Disney fan also, so we're a pretty big Disney family, watching Disney movies. We went on a family Disney cruise in 2005, so got to experience that. And then it was a really long break. I had kids. My kids had special needs. It was really hard to actually go to Disney. So there was a really large gap. And then I finally decided, I need to take my kids, right? My youngest had been on the cruise with us, but my oldest had been on the cruise with us. My youngest had been to Disneyland with his dad once, but never to Disney World. So I started planning his big 13th birthday party with going to Disney World. And that was in April of 2020. So that didn't happen with COVID, but yeah, it was that trip because we rescheduled to go in August of 2020. And that was really when we went, and I was like, this is amazing. We need to make this a more regular thing. And that's when I decided to jump into DVC.
Very cool. Very cool.
You
Where's your
became a
resort?
DVC member.
Yeah, I became a DVC member after our August 2020 trip.
And which resort did you buy?
Boardwalk. So it was the last day of our trip. That's the resort that we were staying at. And we were just having a pool day because, our flight was leaving that afternoon. But I remember being in the pool and just looking around and, seeing the creepy clown and, swan and dolphin in the background and doing the pool trivia and everyone having fun. And I overheard someone talking about Disney Vacation Club, and I knew because we'd rented points to stay there. So I knew about it. And my brother had previously been a member. But I was sitting, just hanging out in the pool. I'm like, we need to do this. Like, we need to buy in. We need to make this a more regular thing. And yeah, it was pretty much got on the plane, got home, and started looking at resale contracts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you were bit by the Disney bug that we all have succumbed to.
Definitely.
And so, where do you live? Where is home for you?
Southeast Wisconsin.
Okay, so getting to Disney it's a big trip for you.
It is a big trip. We do have Southwest flies direct out of Milwaukee, which is nice, but flights are, do tend to be pricier. But yeah, it's definitely a big trip. We wouldn't drive. We've driven to the Panhandle before, and that alone is, a trek. So I would not want to go down to Orlando driving.
Oh, that's a long way for sure.
And so you became a member in August of 2020 or shortly thereafter. And now how have you been using your membership?
So the contract that I bought 150 points, which I wish I had known at the time was not going to be enough, because when I gauged how many to buy, I was like, okay, well, I want to be able to go for 1 week a year at any point in time during the year at Boardwalk. Didn't realize once we started going that, like, oh, I'm going to want to stay at the Polynesian and I'm going to want to stay here and, try all the different resorts. So I really wish I would have bought more points, but the contract that I did buy had double points in it. So we were able to go quite a bit. So since the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trips so far since we became members. And we've done a couple longer trips, but mostly we go for extended weekends. We really have found that, 4 to 6 night span is best for us. Going so often, we did like a 9-night trip last fall. And that got a little long for us. So we like to go for the various festivals and just go for, 4 or 5 nights.
And so which resorts have you stayed at besides Boardwalk?
Yes, Boardwalk, obviously. We've stayed at Copper Creek, Polynesian, Beach Club, and Saratoga Springs. And I've stayed at Grand Flow. So Copper Creek, Boardwalk, Poly, Beach Club, Grand Flow, Saratoga.
So are you like me that wants to check them all off the list at some point, or?
I do. Yeah, I do want to check them all off the list. But then I'll book something different and then start feeling this horrible sense of, oh my gosh, but I love Boardwalk so much and I'm going to miss staying there. So we've done a lot of split stays so that we can make sure that we get in our Boardwalk fix, because we love that resort. It's like a second home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that resort too. It's not one of my home resorts, but it's the resort that I have stayed at the most number of times. Because you can't beat the number of points for a standard view studio either. I mean, as somebody who wants to be able to make the most of my membership, staying at lower points resorts makes a lot of sense. And, and to your point about the size of your contract, when I became a member, I bought Beach Club, and at that time it was just Old Key West, Wilderness Lodge, Beach Club, and Boardwalk. And those points charts are they were all pretty similar. And these newer resorts have these really hefty points charts. And I think to myself, gosh, and I ended up adding a resale contract to Copper Creek, because some of those rooms at some of those resorts are a lot of points. Like even a tower studio at Riviera is a lot of points. And so, that's how they get you. That's how the add-onitis also kicks in, is when you're like, gosh, if I want to continue to stay at Grand Floridian, I'm going to be needing some more points.
Absolutely.
When I think I lucked out. I lucked out doing it the way that I did it, because I bought never having stayed anywhere but All-Star Movies. So not having any idea what these nice deluxe resorts offered, I didn't have the sentimental attachment to any of them. So it's great, because now I can go anywhere and hey, at least it's not All-Star Movies.
That is true. I think that ruined it for me with that graduation trip in high school when we went to the Polynesian, because when I started looking at doing trips for my son and me, what I could afford was, all stars or maybe a moderate, but what I really wanted was the Polynesian, right?
Yeah.
So that's just why, that's why DVC has made so much sense also, because, I calculated that all out, and I know people get all hung up on, well, how did you calculate? And that's not how you should calculate. I did it based on what I thought was, what we would be doing over our lifetime.
Yeah.
Which would be staying at, at a moderate or a value, and it still made sense to buy in.
Yep.
Because the deluxe resorts are so nice.
They are so nice. And I also, my first trip ever, I stayed at Contemporary, and while it's not my favorite resort, it has the proximity to other resorts. And then the next couple of times I went to Disney, I accompanied my dad on he had the business trips there, and they were always at the yacht or beach club. And so you get spoiled the way that we get spoiled as DVC members. I was spoiled, and I thought, "Well, I guess I'll stay at an all-star if I have to, but I'd much rather become a DVC member and stay at the beach club."
Yeah, well, it was funny because we tacked on a night to our trip just this past January, and everything was sold out for DVC. So we ended up booking a royal room at Port Orleans Riverside, and that was the resort that when we were first planning my son's 13th birthday, that was one of the resorts we were going to stay at. Was a couple days there and then switch over and rent points for Boardwalk. But and as nice as the royal room is, after staying in a DVC studio and you walk into a moderate, it's very noticeable, the difference in size. And you wouldn't think that it is, right? I mean, they both have 2 beds, even though one's a sofa bed / Murphy bed, and one's an actual bed. But there's so much more room to spread out in those studios versus a moderate room.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to be staying at Port Orleans Riverside for the first time ever in January, because I'm doing the Princess Half in February, and in the past those have always coincided with the Festival of the Arts, but this year Festival of the Arts ends the week before, so I had this moment of and I love Festival of the Arts, so I was like, I need to go, and there was no DVC availability, so I booked 2 nights at Port Orleans Riverside. So
Okay.
I'm excited because we Disney fans like to be able to experience all the things. So that's also, I'm checking that off my list, like another resort that I've stayed at, but I'm sure, it'll be nice, but it won't feel like home the way that, the DVC resorts have come to feel like you're really going home.
I'm very much on the team. There's a group out there in the world that is on team DVC at Port Orleans. Like, they want one of those, either Port Orleans or Riverside, to be converted to DVC rooms. I would fully support that because it is a beautiful resort. Like, food is good, snacks are good, lounges are good. You get the boat to Disney Springs just like you do at Old Key West, so it's a beautiful resort. You'll love it there. It's not DVC, but it's close.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So Sarah, what is the next resort that you want to try?
I really want to try Animal Kingdom. And I've actually have had it booked a couple times, and then, a few months before, put in a wait list for Boardwalk or Polynesian or someplace that I'm more familiar with. I just the location I'm nervous about, because we've been to the resort before. We've had, dinner there, we've been to Snob and to Belma. But we end up getting a lift because we're sitting there waiting for transportation forever. And, we're go when we're on our Disney trips. So I'm like, I'm not going to waste time just sitting here waiting for a bus, and I don't even know when the next bus is coming. So that's my only hesitation there. And I don't want to rent a car. I don't want to have to worry about driving while I'm at Disney. It's just usually me and my son when we go, and now it will be I'm engaged, so eventually it'll be my fiance coming along also. But I don't want to have to worry about having one too many margaritas at La Cava and oh shoot, I got my car here because I've got to drive back to Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Right. I recently stayed I've recently stayed at both Jumbo House and Kidani Village, and I have to say that while I was there, I never felt like I waited for a long time for a bus. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, because I had in the past stayed there and rented a car because I had that concern, but I was really, really pleasantly surprised. I mean, you get to Animal Kingdom in 5 minutes, which is great. I mean, that is literally the shortest bus ride that you will take at Disney World, is from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom. And especially in the morning, those buses, like, I really feel like at that resort in the morning when the majority of people are heading to parks, those buses were just coming one right after the other. Like, one would fill up and another one would pull into the spot. So I think that I think that they have adequately addressed, at least from my experience, addressed the transportation there.
Yeah,
Good.
I
You haven't
I tend to
tried it.
agree with that because we stayed there once, and while Animal Kingdom Lodge is actually my least favorite resort, and I'm going to get hate for that, that was one thing that I was concerned about that wasn't a problem, is there was buses. I mean, yeah, getting from the lodge to Magic Kingdom, that takes a while. Like there's still plenty of buses coming, but it's a long drive. It is what it is. But to the other three, it didn't feel like any time at all. Like it wasn't bad. And there was buses all the time. So you should give it a try, even though I hate it.
Yeah, the Savannah View rooms just sound really, really neat. So would love to.
Yeah.
Well, the food there is just outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, I think you can't really beat that with any other resorts. I mean, everyone has good food, but I think Animal Kingdom Lodge goes above and beyond in that area.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. Even the food at Victoria Falls Lounge is so good. I mean, they've got great quick service, a great lounge, and then 3 different table service restaurants to choose from that are all excellent. So I mean, it really, in that regard, offers a lot. It's really like, for me, I feel like it's a destination. Like for me, when I stay there, I need to know that I'm going to take advantage of all of the things there. And so when I did my trip in September, I basically just immersed myself in that resort. I don't think that I dined anywhere other than Animal Kingdom and Animal Kingdom Lodge. And it was a wonderful trip. I mean, I feel like staying there and then eating at other resorts doesn't really make sense. So when I stay there, it's like I need to be mentally prepared to like let that be my experience. But which is just another reason why DVC is so amazing, because I would never, if I was not a DVC owner, I would never, for my tastes, like I'm much more of like a boardwalk beach club, like want to be close to Epcot type of person. I would never think, oh, I'm going to go to Disney World so that I can immerse myself in Animal Kingdom Lodge. Like, I don't think that that's like a thing that people do. People go to Disney World to go to the parks and, probably more frequently go to California Grill to watch the fireworks, than they would go to like necessarily seek out going to Jico. Because it really is just such a unique experience that I feel like that, for me at least, that needs to be what I'm committing to when I'm there.
Yeah, we had considered that when we were thinking about places to go for our honeymoon next year. We were considering Disney and decided against it, but Animal Kingdom Lodge was one that we were thinking of because we thought, well, we want to relax on our honeymoon. We don't want to be, in a crowded park every single day. So it would be a perfect opportunity, right? It's, treat it more like a staycation and enjoy the resort, enjoy the restaurants, enjoy, the activities that they have to offer. But I think that when we do eventually go, we'll do the same thing. Is just pretty much dedicate that trip to being at the resort and maybe doing Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, that's what I did, and it was great. It was really great. So do you, when you go, since you've been going as a DVC member, do you always at least have like one park day, or are you there for parks, or have you done resort only stays?
Nope, we do parks every single day. Although my son he's 15 now, and was 13 when we first started going. He likes to sleep, so we're not rope drop people. The only time we ever rope dropped was those first couple trips when Rise of the Resistance. You had to be in the park when it opened to get a boarding group. But other than that, we don't do that. We plan our day to start, roll out of bed, and well, he rolls out of bed around 11 or 12. And spend more afternoons and evenings in the parks than do the rope drop thing. But no, we hit up parks every single day. I feel like we would feel sad if we didn't. And we have annual passes, so it doesn't matter to us as far as,
right.
Oh, we're only going to be in the parks for a couple hours this day. It would be a waste of money to get a park ticket, so we don't have to worry about that piece of it.
And so what do you do while he's sleeping in?
Sometimes I just hang out in the room and just relax. There's been times, especially when we're staying at Boardwalk, that I'll go and wander around Epcot. by myself, or go to when we were at Poly, I would go wander and get a coffee and go sit on the beach and just stare across the lagoon at the castle. Just enjoy the ambiance of the resorts. But yeah, it hasn't been too big of a deal. He doesn't mind being left alone in the room, and he's old enough to be left alone in the room, so that hasn't been an issue at all.
Yeah, that's nice. That I'm all for the leisurely start of the day. I have two teenage daughters who sleep in at home, but when we are there, my older daughter is like, she wants to get there first thing in the morning, stay late, and it is exhausting. So I would love that. So are you Genie Plus people?
We are mostly for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. It works nice for us at Hollywood Studios because we do get a later start, so I can start stacking. Although we used to do it where we would kind of maybe park hop and go to Epcot for lunch and then go over to Hollywood Studios. And now they have that stacking thing where with the timing, so you have to actually wait until it gets to that point to be able to book it. Whereas you used to right away in the morning be able to book something for after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's kind of gotten in the way of us being able to stack the way that we used to. But yeah, we've done it.
When I was there for the holiday weekend, that was what we did. We went into Hollywood Studios late, and we were able to, I think at like around 8 o'clock in the morning, we started booking, and we were able to stack for the afternoon. And it was great because we walked in at noon and we basically had 4 things booked because we bought Rise, and then we had 3 lightning lanes planned, and it was like, I mean, it was great, and we had time and then in between to eat. So it can really work well. I mean, I do enjoy that strategy to be able to sleep in a little, and I don't mind getting up early to book them. It's the getting up and out that's a little bit difficult. So
yeah,
that,
we've done it before where we rolled into Magic Kingdom at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and boom, 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 we're able to do 7, 8, 9 things before whatever 6, 7 o'clock at night. It's just really nice to have that all planned out.
Yeah, it is. I'm a fan of it, and it's always worked for me. So do you foresee yourself using your DVC membership at all to go to the non-Disney World resorts?
Yes, we want to definitely go to Aulani at some point in time. I would love to take my mom out there. It's been one of her dreams to go to Hawaii at some point in time. So I would love to be able to use my points to take her out there sometime. Hilton Head and Vero Beach, I'm not 100% if we'll go there. Hilton Head is someplace I've always wanted to go, just even before DVC. So we'll probably do that at some point in time.
Cool.
I love the Hilton Head Resort. It's the one of the 2 that you still need to visit, right?
One of the 2 I haven't been to yet. I'm dying to, and I love to golf, and so does my dad. So that's something that I would like to do. Maybe even next year is to surprise him and go out to Hilton Head for a few days with my brother or something. But yeah, Hilton Head, and then I still haven't stayed at Boulder Ridge. So those are my 2.
Waiting until the refurb.
Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting. You'll love Aulani though. Like I said it every time it comes up, there's no better resort anywhere.
Awesome.
It's a great resort. But I love the Hilton Head resort too. And that's one I actually, I take a lot of solo trips to Disney World. And I've been thinking recently, like, I think I might take a solo trip to Hilton Head and use my membership that way, because it's such a relaxing, like, just the vibe there is awesome. You've got like the marsh on one side, and then on the other side of the resort there's a marina with all these boats and restaurants and shops, and it's really great. And then you just take the shuttle over the beach, but you can also rent bikes on the property, and I go and I bike all over the island. You can ride your bike to the beach, and it's like I love the beach, and I love beach town. So Hilton Head really gives you like that real like beach town vibe. So if it's one that you're thinking about doing, I think that you won't regret it.
Yeah,
Very cool.
So we like to ask our guests on the show, you know, we all have like lovely, wonderful, beautiful memories from our Disney trips, but we all also have those moments that do not make the highlight reel. They are not the things that we're posting on Facebook and sharing with everyone that we know and maybe don't even know. So do you have one that comes to mind for you?
Oh gosh, it was our longer trip, our 9-night trip that we went on. And yeah, we hit like day 7 and my son was just like done, right? Like, this is too long. I am done with parks. I am done with everything. And we ended up having, you know, getting through it and having the nice rest of our vacation. But there was one day when, I mean, we were just at each other all day long.
Magic was gone.
It was, yeah, it was not magical.
You know, you know that you've passed those families too, right? Like when you're in the parks and you see a family having that moment, you're like, oh, they've reached that point.
Yeah.
Every family has one at some point on a Disney vacation where things just start to break down. Everyone's exhausted, grumpy.
We always say when we see those families that they're due for a pool day. That's what they need. It's pool time.
Yeah, for sure. We've all been there.
Oh yeah, I remember. Well, it was the trip that I talked about on my episode, Amy, that when we walked to Disney World from like Georgia to Disney World, that we kind of had one of those we need a pool day moments because we ended up having to stay on property at a different resort, but we had a couple of youngins with us, and they on day 3 were waiting for the bus to come get us in the morning, and they were in tears. I don't want to go to Disney World. Like, they were done. Anyway, so it was like, I feel for those people because we've been those people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with us? Any DVC wisdom that you want to share with our viewers?
I think just, I mean, for anyone who's considering it, it's, you know, it affords you so many opportunities that you wouldn't have if you didn't buy in. But just really take a look at the points, because I really wish that I would have bought more points initially, especially because in 2020 they were much lower than they are now. So
Yes.
It's a good $25 to $30 more per point right now than what I bought in for. So I you know, I got 150. I wish I would have gone at least 200, 250.
Yeah. I bought in 2020 as well, and then 2021 and 2022. But I did the same thing. We bought a pretty small contract in 2020, and then we've continually added on because I'm just finding different ways to use it. You know, it's when I did the same thing you did. I figured out how many I would need for once a week at the cheapest resort possible. And then I realized, but there's these big 2 bedrooms, and I can take my friends, or I can take my extended family, or, you know, and yeah, anyway, long story short, we have more than that now. But
yeah, well, that's where I'm falling into, because we're going for my bachelorette party in May, and I'm using my 2023 points, and I borrowed all of my 2024 points to get a 2-bedroom at Grand Floridian.
Oh, very cool.
My bachelorette party, and I just want to do it, you know, do it up and stay at a really, really awesome, you know, awesome resort and awesome room. But I'm feeling really sad because 2023 points and 2024 points, it's a long gap. So we may need to purchase some more.
You know, I've always felt that Disney needs to do a wedding registry like Target does, and like, you know, Amazon does and stuff like that. But have it be where, like, instead of a $25 gift card, you just get 1 point at whatever resort they're buying, and people just drop, and you know, you got 100 people that come to your wedding. Pretty soon you got 100 extra points. I think that should be a thing. I'm making a phone call.
That would be awesome. Make it happen.
Sarah, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us today, and for sharing your DVC story. And thank you all of you who are tuning in and watching. Thank you for being a part of our community. Be sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And until next time, DVC you real soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.